Hello, hello, hello. Just closing the door. And I'll just do some checks to see if we are live. Hopefully we are. Looking good. Excuse me. I'm pretty much bang on time today as well. There's a little notification to say I've just gone live. I like it when everything works out. And I haven't got to sit here tweaking stuff. Right. Just need someone to say hello now. And we'll be off and running. Just double check everything's okay. Fingers crossed we are. Live. Okie dokie. Hiya Gizmo, you alright mate? How's life treating you? Nice. I'm sorted. Everything's running smoothly and hopefully there'll be no crackling or anything like that like there has been in the last couple of live streams. Ian, hiya mate, you alright? Have you been out much, Ian? I'm sure I've seen the odd picture of your rods on Instagram. You're good mate. Have you been fishing, Gizmo? Have you been getting out like, or are you not bothering for winter? Evening all, love crackling. Please don't tell me there's any crackling, Danny. It doesn't look like there is. The picture looks all stable tonight. But the other week it was such a pain in the arse. And I've been trying to sort the wires out like to stop it happening without much luck. But as long as it's alright, as in poor crackling. Yeah, this live stream could be poor crackling, mate. It's at least I'm up and running anyway, in every which way. First live stream of the year, had my first carp of the year, and my second, which you all don't know about yet. But yeah, I've done all right. Thanks, Martin. Quality's good. That's all fine. That'll do, mate. Fine's okay with me. I'm happy with that. Just as long as it's not crackling and annoying everybody, because people have a tendency of turning it off if it's like that. Planned trip for the Trent in a fortnight. Nice. Are we talking special Trent, Gizmo? As in the Weir, Collingham, or another part of the river? A Collingham Weir on a Trent, that's been famous for so long now. I can remember reading about that 30 years ago, people catching carp out of it. 12 years since your mum passed. Been out for roach. Session for carp and a social with a mate. Good times. Winthorpe. I'm not familiar with that area, mate. I've no idea what Winthorpe's like. It's a river that's a fair way from me. The Trent, like, it's not one I've visited. I know a few people who fish it, but it's just too far. Darren, relatively new subscriber. Made up your rig to use on a 24-hour. Yeah, you'll catch on it, mate. If the fish pick it up, you'll catch. I'm telling you. All my fish on my community tab have fallen to it this year. It's an absolute cracker of a rig. It's a rig for life. So, you know, you're using it now and you're catching on it, and if you decide to use something else and go away from it and you ever run into trouble, you know, sometimes you just need to get back to basics. You'll find that in fishing, like I'm the same. You go off on a tangent somewhere and then you end up with your head stuck up your arse, and you think, let's go back to what works. And that rig, mate, you'll be going back to it on and off right through your life. That's what I've done anyway. I think I've been using it now for best part of 30 years, I would say. And it's an absolute corker. Out Boxing Day for the 3 nights, yeah. I had a cracking result the day after Boxing Day, and I had 3 in an hour. I turned up, put my rods in. I must have just landed right on them. Like some guy said, look, they were showing there half an hour before you arrived, and I just must have arrived at the lake and just plonked myself exactly where they were. And the rods were only in half an hour, and then it was 1, 2, 3, one after the other. It's madness. And then it died, obviously, as they pushed out. But yeah, that's my end of year result. That, like, the leather or the partially scaled mirror, I call it the plain mirror. The lads on the lake call it the leather, and a couple of other doubles as well, like a common and a mirror. It's happy days. Mr. Pope, Reader Trent, unreal, says, lads just put £10 barbel back with no picks. It's mad, that, isn't it? I suppose on such a rig, on such a river, like, it's going to be like that, isn't it? I mean, the 7, you know, you'd put a 6 or a £7 back maybe without a picture, but not a double. If you catch a double figure barbel on the 7, you've caught a very big fish, and it's deserving of a picture. I think an 8-pounder is well deserving of a picture. I even take pictures of my 7s and my 6s, but that's just me. But yeah, on the Trent, double figure fish, put them back. They're not after them, are they? They want 13s and 14s and 15s and over. It's a quality river, let's be honest, and a very different way of fishing than we're used to, Danny. Such a big and deep river. But it'd be good fun though. If I lived local to it, I'd certainly be fishing it a lot. But unfortunately, I live in Wirral and it's just too far. Yorkshire's finest. Evening, guys. Long time no type. Evening, mate. Been a while, hasn't it? They've not been back very long, these live streams, like, and I'll only keep them going until the spring. Once we hit the spring again and I get the fishing bug back. Not that I've lost it. It's just I can't go fishing on a Wednesdays at the moment until the clocks have come back. But yeah, it keeps us busy on a winter's night, doesn't it? Scouted another venue for late winter, no footprints or rubbish. Finding the unknown. Yeah, if you can, Danny, it's always good to get somewhere that nobody goes, and it's so difficult these days. Like, I think some stretches of river never see an angler from 1 week to the next. Certainly on the River Severn, and others as well. Like, you're just not going to see anybody. It all depends where you're fishing, I suppose. Still water or whatever. Still waters are harder to find, obviously, but you tend to find the ones that are a fair walk from the car are the ones that get left alone. It's just human nature, isn't it, to be lazy and want somewhere that's close, if you like. But hey ho, I hope you find something in the unknown, mate. You never know, you might find a big fish in there. Stranger things have happened. I think as regards carp fishing, most places have been discovered, or, you know, they've had people guesting on and people know what's in them, or not, as the case may be. What would I consider the most productive particle for winter for carp other than maggots? Bordered the boilie approach, thinking maize with a few tigers. I think you'd be all right on that, Martin. Probably the most productive would be a combination of maize and hemp. It's a really well-known combination for winter, maize and hemp. Tiger nuts certainly work. You'll have no problem catching on tigers. Danny says hemp and tares. You know, if you were fishing for roach, like I'd go along with that. But you know, if you want carp, basically you fish with the maize over hemp, and it's a cracking method, that hemp and tigers. A little bit of hemp and a handful of particles, handful of maize. Just fish for a bite, and that works for me. Decent stove. Oh, crikey, Darren, I've got a whatchamacallit, I can't even remember what mine's called. I've got another PC here. I've got two. Like, there's a screen here I'm looking at with me on it live streaming, and I've got another one over here which I can open Google search with, and I'll try and tell you what my stove's called. To be honest, Darren, I'm not really the person to ask about stoves because I don't night fish. You know, I do all the films for this channel, and all the fish that are caught on it are caught in 5 and 6 hour sessions in the afternoon on a Saturday. So I'm not a big night fisher, but I have got a decent stove. I'll try and tell you what it's called. I just need to have a look through the gas camping stoves and see what there is. And when I see mine, because it's quite a popular one, I'll know what it is. But it's a cracker. It works really well. But yeah, I'm probably not the right person. It has got a name. I just can't remember what it is, but it's a popular one. I'm on the it's not a Bewlin, mate. Mine's not. Can't see it. Just been through every stove on the on the Go Outdoors website, and it's not there. It's not a Primus, Danny. No. It's not a jet boil either. They're all on here. Coleman. I don't think it's a Coleman. I tell you what, I'll go and get it. It's only in the next room. Just bear with me a second. I'll go and see if I can find my stove. It's a Coleman, Darren. I don't know why I didn't think it was a Coleman, but I'll show you it. This is my stove. Coleman burner. It's got a piezo ignition, little thing that you light there, and that screws into a bog standard gas canister. And that's it. And then just, you know, sit it on the floor like, and put your kettle or whatever goes on top. And you know, the big Coleman gas canisters that are so big, it just screws into any one of them, and you can screw it out when you're finished and put it away, and that does me, mate. That's my stove. It folds up, and then it just fits in this little bag, and that's it. Hey ho, one stove sorted. Coleman gas stove. I think I've had this a few years, like, but I think it cost at the time about 25 quid. I would imagine it's gone up now through, you know, a few years of inflation and stuff like that. But Coleman gas, I don't cook on petrol or anything like that. So that's my stove, mate. Ian's got a Coleman twin burner. That'll be all right. I mean, that's just a single one that plugs in the gas canister, but it does me. You know, I mean, if I go fishing for a night or two, I can like heat tins of beans up and stuff like that on that, or I can do a casserole. Let's say take a frozen casserole with me or something like that. It just cooks in the pan on that stove, and it does me for brews and stuff like that, and that's it. That's as far as my night fishing goes, to be honest, Darren. Yeah, everything has a place in this house, mate, especially when it comes to fishing gear. I haven't done a night in 3 years, but I still knew exactly where my stove was. I could walk into another bedroom and pick it up straight away. Good fisherman's always organised, as you say. But yeah, the Coleman single burner is fine, and I prefer to cook with gas than petrol these days. I've had a couple of petrol stoves, and the fuel injector, it always the petrol dries in the fuel injector, and they always end up not burning very well. So I prefer to just no mess with gas. Screw it into the container, unscrew it, and you know, you're done. New barrow shelter, and maybe 2 1.5 Tesco rods for spring. You're feeling tenchy. Oh right, okay, Danny. Yeah, fair enough. Any ideas where you're going for these tench? The Bewlin is a good one, yeah. Without a stupid price attached, absolutely. Yorkshire's finest, no problem there. I'd take a Bewlin over anything with a crappy carp name on it any day. They're the same thing, basically, aren't they? Just they just haven't got the carp tax on. Little Bill, right? Okay, yeah. I've been thinking of it myself, Danny, but I was thinking of Big Sandy, because Big Sandy's got some absolute whoppers in. I was thinking along the lines of target them and the carp, and take whatever comes my way. Because the fishing on there is difficult, isn't it? You know, it's a bloody big place, like very deep, up and down, like an egg box. And, you know, you've got your work cut out catching fish on short sessions in there. Like, so I was thinking of a target everything approach, and see what comes along. Yes, there is, mate, and that's the other problem. That's why I was thinking of targeting them as well. And, you know, widening my net, so to speak, to cover tench as well. Gives me more options then. Has it got any big pike? I didn't even know it had any. And I know it's produced fish up to about £15, like, but I didn't think there'd been anything bigger out. Not at that lake anyway. I may be wrong. I don't know. And I see a lot of captures posted on Instagram from there, like, but they're not pike or tench, they're usually all carp. Yeah, some nice tench in Big Bill. That's right. I seem to recall the lads used to get mithered with them. Oh dear. Recommendations for a week somewhere. Someone asked this question on the Northwest Carp group. They were looking for places to go and book, and there was a couple of quite interesting answers came up. I put one on. Usually go to Linear, too busy. Yeah, I quite agree. Do you know the last time I went to Linear Fisheries? I think it was 2002. I had maybe a year or so later, I had a 30 in 2002. My first 30 from Hardwick. And after that, I think I went the next year, and that was it. I left and never went back. Let's just go on Face 8. I'll give you a couple that were put up as options, Mr. T, because some of them looked alright actually. Just give us a second. Day ticket wars are good at the 20s and 30s, some of the replies. The approach, that's in Yorkshire, isn't it? The approach. Norton Disney, although I believe Norton Disney's quite busy as well, like, but the approach has got some whacking big fish in. So's Eric's. Eric's Willows. I think that's day tickets as well. When I say day tickets, you pay, I think 25 quid, is it? Something like that, to join for life. And then after that, it's like 25 or 30 quid for 24 hours. So Eric's and the approach are options for you. Like, there's some whacking big fish in both of those. Ian says he liked Bluebell. There was a couple of others, couple of really nice looking ones. Ladywood now. Let's have a look. Merrington in Shropshire. Blackthorn Fishery near Oswestry. That's worth a look, mate, for a week. Blackthorn. No E on the end of thorn, so it's Blackthorn. There's 340s in that lake. Because I was looking at it myself the other day, and the boathouse fishery in Cheshire, I had a look at that as well after someone else recommended it, and again, it's got quite a few 30s in, up to 35, load of 20s, private water, on a day ticket. I think you can book accommodation on there and stuff like that. You certainly can on Blackthorn anyway, but Blackthorn fishery and boathouse fishery. Both in the Cheshire Shropshire area, Mr. T. You'd have to Google them. Boathouse Fishery in Cheshire are found on Facebook, and Blackthorn Fishery has a website of its own, which you'll find if you Google it. Is that the one with the cabin? I think there's a cabin in. There's a accommodation on one of them. Blackthorn, definitely. I think it's got 3 lodges on it. Boathouse, I'm not sure about. I think there might be a cabin on there, yeah. But they both look good. I don't know how much they are. I think they're around 30 quid a day, something like that. You might have to pay more for the accommodation if you're fishing, you know, if you want some more luxury, or you want to take the family or the missus or something like that. But they've both got big fish in. You know, we're talking like big fish for the area. I think they've got feeding programs on the lake, so the fish are growing on really, really well. I know Blackthorn, I think they stocked with VS fish, which are the same that PA stock into theirs. I'm pretty sure Danny will tell us that Lim are stocking VS fish as well. Howdy, Danny. Is your club stocking VS? Casa del Brookside? No. No, you can't send Mr. T there. You can send him somewhere decent. But yeah, Mr. T, they both look alright. Not all the time. Put it this way, if I was going to go somewhere myself, I'd be somewhere like one of those two fisheries, Blackthorn or Boathouse. They both look decent. Or one of Rob Hales's waters if you can get on one of them. Belmont was VS, but used different for this year's C6. And you know what they look like in tanks in the water. I don't know what they look like, Danny, to be honest. I've not seen any pictures. But I assume that they're nice fish. Shakily different suppliers provide variety. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. You should make sure the gene pool is diversified, if you like. It can't do any harm, can it? And, but the nice fish, those VS, like they're very much the preferred fish of PA at the moment. They seem to have put a lot of VS in over the years, last few years. I think they've got a standing order on every spring or every winter. So, but they're lovely fish and they grow really well. So I'm quite happy. Quality, mate. That's right. Yeah. How big were your C6s? Can you put weights on them for C6? If the quality, I would expect them to be 22 and over, possibly bigger. Possibly even much bigger. Lake Cheerer on Gran Canaria. Yeah, and that's the kind of gain you can have with them, mate. They're good fish, the VS. You stick them in the right water and the right environment and it'll go really well. C6 went in at 21 on the nose in transport. That's not bad. You can get some C5s at that size, but they generally tend to be like the best of the best, don't they? C6s, some of them can be touching £30 if they're really good quality. But again, they're the best of the best, like they call them the 1%ers, the ones that go like stink. I believe that Gran Canaria is a bit of a dump. Gizmo. I don't know. I know it's all rocky and mountainous, isn't it? And generally not as good as it's made out, is what I've heard. Yeah. Low stock, high efforts, high reward. Get rid of the idiot anglers and don't want to work. One instant result, so move on after 3 blanks. Yeah, and I think that's the right way to go myself. It's always good to have a runs water or two, just to, you know, keep everybody happy. But yeah, if you want a big fish water and you want it to produce big fish, then you've got to have a low stock. I think they work on £300 an acre for fishery management purposes. Like, you want £300 of fish per acre and no more. And that includes other fish besides carp. So, you know, if you've got loads of roach, perch and stuff like that, you'd have to take their weight into consideration as well. So, yeah, low stock, grow big. Yeah, the Croatian, I think, Martin, you're right, yeah. I've fished Cromwell a couple of times, like I think I've been there 3 times now. I'm not blanked. Don't think I've blanked on there. I've always caught every time I've been, like I think I've had 4 fish in 3 trips or something like that. It's not easy by any means, but there's some very decent fish in that lake, and they are or were foreign. That's right, but they're naturalised English now, mate. They're under angling pressure the same as any other fish, and they're as difficult to catch. So I certainly wouldn't poo-poo the place just because they're Croatian fish or anything like that. They're worthy of capture, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you're on the limb committee, but all working in the right direction, and this year's waiting list is thousands. Wow. Okay. Renewals are well up as well. You're heading in the right direction then, Danny. It sounds like you're heading in the right direction. You know, you're stocking the right kind of fish and stuff like that, and turning the waters into what they should be. It's just a case of everybody's on the same page, isn't it? I think if you can get a club like that, you're all right. Yeah, Martin, it was the same when I went, mate, covered in weed. I lost a couple of fish because of it. I think the last time I went, was it last time? I had a 35-pound mirror on a zig, and I had 2 other runs both on zigs, and I lost them because of the weed. They were just burying in it, and I couldn't get them out. It's mad. It's challenging fishing, but those zigs, mate, they are the answer. Fish above the weed, you know, get a little bit of foam, yellow or black or whatever. They like the yellow. They're quite fond of yellow when I fish there, and yeah, you'll catch them. I think in the 3 trips I went, I think I had fish on zigs every trip, but only 1 off the bottom on a clear area, and I only found that clear area because fish rolled over it. They were rolling and bubbling, and you could see the bubbles coming up. And I covered that area and caught in the night. I had 1 out after dark, but all my other fish on all 3 trips came to zigs. So it's definitely a method that's worth pursuing. Yeah, make it the best club you can for the members. That's all you can do, mate. I'm quite happy with PA. You know, they never let us down. They've got some good waters, and it's decent. And I'm quite happy with that. And it's a decent price for the tickets as well. Like PA, it's only what, $130, so it's cheaper than yours. And there's more waters, but you know, each to their own. I suppose having a ticket for both would be handy, because you got quite a few waters now, haven't you? You've taken on some interesting places over the last few years, like the Nunsmere and that. It's mad seeing the trout place, that bloody big one not far from Jodrell Bank. There used to be PA. It was a PA trout water for many years, till we lost it, and you know, it's a carp water now, isn't it? It's a limb carp water. Catchpenny, is that what it's called? Catchpenny. Interesting place. Yeah, away from it all. That's what I like about it, mate. It's good for getting away. You know, it's got its busy lakes, and you can go to some lakes and they're like it's just a merry-go-round of people going on and off, busy as hell. But if you pick somebody out of the way waters that aren't fished so much, you can have plenty of peace and quiet, and they're the ones I tend to stick to. Done a very special fish, but I'm sure you know about that. Probably, mate, but I've no idea what you're going on about. If a special fish has come out, I know a few special fish that have come out. There could be one of a few, but yeah, they've got some nice ones, and they've got some cracking waters as well. Some of them are absolutely stunning. It's just a case of which ones you're going to get to fish. I'm still a bit stuck at the moment. Like, I've got to stay close to home, which is why I'm still on the little water just down the road. But when I get to move on, hopefully, like, I'll be able to start travelling again, and I'll start going to some of the other places. Always fancied Reedsmere. Thought about it last year, but I never did. Like I said, I'm stuck in how far away from home I can be. Limit set out development plans of common knowledge to trying to get down to 1,200 members. Right, okay. When other clubs have to reduce night tickets to 24 hours as busy. Yeah, is that what you're trying to get it down to, 1,200? Mind you, I suppose for the waters you've got, that's not so bad, is it? I mean, I balance that against PA, which has got about, what, 8,000? And I'm thinking, crikey. But, you know, they've got 220 waters, something like that. And you haven't. So yeah, 1,200 sounds reasonable if you can get it down to that. Are you putting the membership? I take it you're putting the membership up to get it down to that. I know it's quite a popular opinion in PA to double the ticket price and halve the membership. So, you know, put it up from 130 to 260 and then slice it to 4,000 members instead of 8. Yeah, and that's what will keep your waiting list healthy. People enjoying their fishing and having somewhere to go and not getting crowded out. You get a lot of anybody know any syndicates who can join? I'm fed up with a rat race and stuff like that. And yeah, you know what it's like, and you can't get away from that, can you? But if you're trying to bring the membership down, like, so nowhere's going to be crowded, then that's not such a bad idea. It all depends, and the thing is, though, if you've got quality fishing like that and people enjoy it, they're more likely to pay more. So you shouldn't have any problem having to take in new members or anything like that, unless you get another water, in which case you can maybe bump it up by 100 or so. Take on 100 members to help pay for it or something like that. Just about balancing your club in it and running your books right, and keeping everybody happy. Walk in the shop, buy a card, and fish tomorrow. Yeah. You might see me on the Fruit Lake this year, Danny. I fished it once or twice a couple of years ago, but didn't catch anything. Just a few hours here and there. But I've a hankering to go back there and catch a few of them. But I've got other irons in the fire as well, like, so I don't know how much time I'm going to get to do on there. But it's close enough to be home in a reasonable time, and it's got plenty of fish in, so I might start having a look at it in May, June, July, or maybe in the summer. We'll have to wait and see. It'll be when it's dried up and isn't so muddy. You walked it this year with a view to renewing your ticket on the way home, and you drove past a bait shop. Not for you. Fair enough, mate. That's I've renewed mine, and I'm quite happy to pay it because it's only 50 quid. You know, it's oh well, it's 55 now, but you know that's dirt cheap. I don't have a night permit because I don't night fish, but I'm quite happy to pay 55 quid. Like to have those options available to me. Used to be a good syndicate water near Jodrell Bank around Shelford with some fast growing carp. Can't remember its name. Some of my old mates were members. There's 2 syndicates by Jodrell Bank, Gizmo. One of them's quite well known, and the other one will not be named. Both good waters. Mind you, I think I'm an ex-member now, so I don't suppose it matters. Like, but I would never break confidentiality on where it is or what it's called or anything like that. All I'll say is I've been a member of one of them. I'm not anymore. I dropped my ticket. Wasn't for me. But say no more. I'm surprised anyway, Danny, that you didn't renew Warrington, but you know, understandable, I suppose. Yeah, you move on and you have your fishing where you have your fishing, and if it's not offering you what you want, then obviously you're not going to pay, are you? They're easy tickets, them anyway. The likes of Warrington, Winsford, Northwich. You can come and go from them as you please, can't you? There's no waiting lists for them or anything like that. You can literally go to the shop and get your card, and if you don't like it, you know, you can drop it for a while and maybe go back in a few years' time, as and when you want to fish their waters. They're easy cards to come and go. I dip in and out of Warrington, Winsford and Northwich on any given year. I'll usually have one of them, and sometimes more than one, but for the last couple of years, like it's been Wazza. Yeah, you keep moving on to stay interested, Danny. That's why I've had you know, I can't remember how many 20s I've had from different waters. About 27 or 28 different lakes I've had a 20 from. And I'm always moving on. I never spend more than a year or two on the same water before I'm bored, and you look for another one. And I've been moving on, you know, fishing the water for a while. Some I'll only spend a year on. Sometimes I'll spend 2 or 3, depending on whether I get what I want. But you'd always move on eventually. Sometimes I fish 2 or 3 waters in a year, if things go my way. But you'd always move on and always look for something else. Not sure about making the weekly vlogs. They don't drive my fishing at all. Like filming fishing on YouTube has no influence on it at all, really. I fish where I want to fish, and if I can film I will, and if I can't I won't. Simple as that. But you know, I would never stop fishing PA waters just because they don't let you film on them anymore. And I'm quite happy to just not film and carry on. You'd be on Ryan Hill and the Vale, yeah. Yeah, well, they're the two waters I'd join them for, probably Rhinhill and the Vale. But I know they're too busy for me. I've got mates who fished them, and I've lasted about 3 weeks before they're fed up. One of them being too busy and full all the time, and two, the behaviour of some of the knobheads that fished them. So they've given up and basically ended up dropping the ticket. So I don't really see the point in going to those places. Not worth it. Like you said, if you want the big fish, you'll go there. But there's plenty of other stuff around anyway, and I'm not driven by 20s and 30s anymore. I didn't catch a 20 last year, or the year before. I think the last one I had was 2019. I've been close a few times, like I've had some that have been within a whisker. But those size of fish aren't in the waters I'm fishing at the moment. But I'm quite happy just to go for peace and quiet. Something about just sitting there and having the place to yourself, like I had on Sunday. I went fishing on Sunday, and I turned up 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. Now, you'd expect Sunday's one of the busiest fishing days of the week, isn't it? Everybody gets out on a Sunday after working Monday to Saturday or whatever. And I rocked up on Sunday morning, nobody there. Just me, all day. Didn't see anybody all day, just me. And I caught one as well. Booking system 12 at a time, yeah. And there's booking systems on a few PA waters as well, like to Thorney in the estate. They're sadly necessary these days. Well, some are. I'm not convinced myself, but they're busy lakes, and they're only small. Work party this weekend. All lads happy. Fair enough. That's got a cracking head of fish, hasn't it? I think one of your ex-members told me there was 25 fish over £25 in the Vale. Possibly more now, because that was about 3 or 4 years ago. So there might be a few more that come through to get a little bit bigger. Certainly a premier water these days, without a doubt. But I've heard from a few people like they've some idiots will turn up next to you and start hammering pegs in while you're trying to fish in the margins. Which are just things like that. I mean, okay, he wants to put his tent up with his bivvy or something like that, but things like that just would drive me nuts. You know, I can't be dealing with someone getting a mallet out right next to you while you're fishing in the margins and trying to be quiet. Yes, booking systems remove litter without a doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Because they know if they've booked a certain peg, or they're on the lake and they've left the litter, then they're in trouble, aren't they? Simple as that. Yeah, is that £90 that catfish, is it now? Wow. It's going to get bigger, isn't it? It's going to break £100 sooner or later, I think. It just seems to be going like stink. Ads, all right, mate. Perch fishing this year, I'm not sure, mate. I decided in November to stick with the carp right through. And to be honest, I'm on a roll at the moment, a proper roll. I mean, I've literally battered the lake I've been fishing. I think at the last count I've had 2/3 of the fish out of the lake since April, and I only fish like 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday. I have hammered it. I'm catching fish every trip, even in winter. You know, I've had a few out over Christmas, a few before Christmas, a few over Christmas. I blanked on New Year's Day, and that's me one and only blank in I think about 7 months, 6 or 7 months. So, but the next day, you know, I was out a couple of days later on the bank holiday. I think it was the 3rd of January I caught, 10th of January the next Saturday, or was it the 9th? Caught then as well. So I can't leave her alone at the moment, like. So the perch fishing's going to have to wait. I'd quite like to get back to it because I've got some ideas for videos that I want to film for fishing on the canal, which I think would be quite helpful to people. But it's finding the time, mate. And, when you're catching carp and you're on a roll, it's difficult to walk away from it. I can't walk away from it. I've just got to carry on and milk it for all it's worth until my little run comes to an end. But at the moment, like, it just keeps going on and on and on. But I will get out and get some perch fishing done sooner or later. You might have to wait though, mate. But I've got some ideas for videos that I think will help. The trouble is, I don't want to share the ideas because other people do lure fishing channels, and I don't want them nicking my ideas. 18.8 out of the Trent. It's a nice fish, that Gizmo. Is it still doing very big fish, the Trent? Because it had whatchamacallit in it, didn't it? We used to have a fish in the 1990s, I think it was, called the Trent Ghosty. Came out of one of the pits in the Trent Valley, I think, when it flooded, and it was a 40. And a few people caught it, but I don't know what happened to it. Whatever happened to the Trent Ghosty? It just seemed to disappear. Like, I think it got put in the private water or something like that. I don't know. But 18.8's not a bad fish, mate. I know my club's got a couple of stretches that are supposed to produce carp, but again, too far. So much to do between here and the Trent, and it's, you know, an hour and a half, something like that. Yeah, if you stink of garlic, Danny, they don't count. Anything that stinks of garlic doesn't count. I've just picked this off the table and just realised it's off my stove. It's the that was Darren before, wasn't it, asking me what stove I've got. It's the whatchamacallit off here, you know, the cap goes on there. Keep it clean and all that. Go back in the bag, sorted. I'll put that away later. £10 Dane barbel, £20 pike. Yeah, but for the waters they're in, Danny, those fish are exceptional. You know, they're the equivalent of something much bigger from, say, the Trent or something like that. Especially the £10 Dane barbel. I mean, I've heard in the past, but when I say the past, I'm talking 25, 30 years ago, 11 and £12 Dane barbel. But not these days. You're lucky if you find a barbel at all. I would imagine that £10 you caught on borrowed time, mate, because it's only a matter of time before an otter finds it, because they've decimated the river. Used to have a resident shoal of carp in it as well at Manor Farm that was seen on a regular basis. Like, there used to be a ghosty in there called Casper, and they're all gone. every one of them. It's such a shame as well, like, but you know, nowadays like that, I would say that's certainly the biggest fish I've heard of from the river in many a year. And I can't see there being any barbel bigger than that, mate. I would imagine that one's actually quite lonely. Same with the canal pike, like up here, you know, the Shropshire Union, even the Bridgewater to an extent. Not many 20s in those canals, mate. Yeah, come breeding, yeah, you'd expect 11 to 12 pound, yeah. It's just a case of how long it survives, isn't it? It's, they're not doing anything to get the otters off the river. I don't think they can really. It's theirs now, isn't it? And you're just kind of stuck with it. Wow, that's cracking fish, that Gizmo. 35 pound. Yeah, A1 pits floods on a regular basis, doesn't it? It's just one of those things. It's what keeps the fishing interesting on the river, I suppose, really. Like, you just don't know what it's going to produce, do you? What your next run's going to be. Okay, Danny, yeah, more than one. Fair enough. Yeah, well, have a try for them, by all means, mate. Take some barbel gear to the swim that you fished, by all means. But like you said, maybe some things are best left to memory. Although if one destroyed you, it would be nice to know what it was. Always worth answering the question, isn't it? There we go, I can put a logo on there. Get me little ticker going. Right, I think I'm going to wrap it up here anyway, because it's coming up to 9 o'clock, isn't it? I'm trying to keep these to an hour now instead of 2. So 9 o'clock's a good time to wrap up, I think. Right on the hour. I'm looking and I'm seeing nearly an hour now. So let's call it a day. Been alright tonight, some interesting chatter. I hope Mr. T finds his water. And Darren finds his stove. I think he'd be alright with the Coleman, myself. Oh, I don't know, Danny. You know, you went to great lengths to tell everybody that you caught it on a light hook length. I think they'd be straight in there, mate. People know. People listen to what you say and they know. And I think they'd be after you, mate. It's a problem when you've got a face people recognise. You just have to hide. Get a hoodie on, mate. Put your hand up. Yeah, the draw of the unknown, Gizmo, isn't it? I think we all like that. I've done a couple of river campaigns for carp. One on the Weaver in Cheshire, and the other on the River Dee, inside the English border on the River Dee, which flows through Wales. And I loved every minute of both of them. Really good. You just do not know what's coming your way. And fantastic fishing. And catching river carp's not that hard either. They're such a big animal and they've got to fight the flow. They eat like crazy. So they're actually quite easy to catch. Just give them a lot of bait. There's both the rivers I've fished, it was just a case of give them a load of bait and they'd be straight on it. And yeah, brilliant fishing. Like I said, if the tramp was on my doorstep, I'd be on it all the time, literally. And I've been told what it's like on the A1 bank. It's like campers. People pitched up for like weeks on end, and people going in camper vans and staying there all year. Literally, it's madness. But you know, they're there for a reason, aren't they? And yeah, you can blame them. Anyway, let's call it a day, shall we? I'll say good night. Time I got myself another brew, I think, to be honest. Hopefully I'll be back next Wednesday, providing I don't have to play taxi for one of my family, which I had to do last week. So I'll say take it easy, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, and I shall speak to you all next week if you can make it. Thanks for popping in. There's been quite a few on this evening, like a few more than usual. So it's good to see you all. Take care of yourselves, and good luck with your fishing this weekend. So Gizmo, Danny, Ads, sorry I'm not doing any perch fishing, mate, but I will get round to some eventually. Martin, nice one, Martin Daniels. Mr. T, as always. Ian, take it easy, mate. And Yorkshire's finest. And Darren. Nice one. Don't think there was anybody else. Nope, that's it. That's everybody. So you've all had a good name check there. Nice one. Cheers, lads. I'll speak to you next week. Take care of yourselves. See you later. Just need to find the end button now. There we go. Nice one. See ya.